Yeah, welcome to the postgame shows. The Flyers get a victory to end this 4-game road trip. They pick up the 2 points with 2 goals against the New Jersey Devils, and a goaltending performance. It's Brian Smith, Jason Myrtetus, by the way. A goaltending performance, Bri, worthy of Junior Mintz. One of my favorites names that you can hear.
You feel like you got away with something? You know, like
I never got away with anything. Yeah, I
you should be in jail. You're not. I mean, it's kind of how I feel right now. it just feels like one of those games that should not have gone the way that it did. But that's the beauty of National Hockey League. Any team can win on any given night, despite anything that might suggest otherwise. So another big one for Carter Hart here, and I think it's probably the end of the Devils' losing streak, because you know how it works. Usually the last game of your losing streak is a game that you should have won but didn't. I think they got night. So, but I'm certainly glad that the Flyers came through there and got one more at them, and get to feel good about themselves on this bus ride home on this lovely evening that we have here down the Jersey Turnpike, and get back in their own beds tonight.
Not for nothing. That's a miserable way to end a long trip. Jersey and having to bus it home. It's not worth flying, but still.
Yeah, I mean, at least we got a couple buses, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not taking the old school bus with your knees jammed into the seat in front of you. Let me give you some numbers, Bri. The Flyers get outshot in this game 49-24. Carter Hart with 48 saves. By the way, that's a .980 save percentage for the game. 48 saves equals a career high, and he is 11-1-1 when he faces 40 or more shots against in the NHL. Stunning.
Yeah, and it's even that those numbers go up even better when you back that off to, like, I think 37 shots. I didn't look. I probably should have, but he's had another
15 wings over 36 shots.
He's had another 4 or 5 wins when he makes 38 saves and only maybe 2 losses. Like, it's nuts how he seems to thrive on those high traffic nights. And let's be honest, I mean, if you're a team that's giving up 48 shots on a given night, it's the night that you need your goaltender to bail you out a little bit. So it's a good thing to have that back there when you do have one of these nights where the team's just throwing everything they can at you. It was a little bit of an odd situation where usually when you have something like this going on, you have a ton of shots on goal, and then you're also getting drastically outmanned in shot attempts. The shot attempts that missed the net were virtually even between the two teams. It was just the Devils got they doubled up the Flyers in shots on goal, which is not normally how we see it play out. So they were pretty accurate tonight in the long run, and 17 of their 18 skaters had at least one shot on goal. So that's just the kind of night they had, and unfortunately, Carter was there to bail out the Flyers.
No doubt about it. So the big storyline, the big takeaway in tonight's game, we're going to get to the BetRivers.com highlight reel in a minute. The big takeaway is the performance of Hart. But there is a subplot, as there often is when John Tortorella is coaching a team, and it's this, Bri, that Kevin Hayes had his last shift, I think, with like 30 seconds to go in the second period.
25, 6, yeah.
Yeah, and didn't see a shift in the third period of this game. He played 9 minutes and 47 seconds on a total of 15 shifts, 236 on the power play, and he doesn't see any ice time in that third period in a tight hockey game. Now, we know that Kevin Hayes is not – the strong suit of his game is not defending, but I think there was probably a particular play or two that led John Tortorella to put him on the bench, and it's not just that he put him on the bench tonight. It's the second time already this season, and we're not at the midway point.
Right. And there was a play there at the end of that second period. Excuse me. Hayes had the puck at the Devils' blue line, offensive zone blue line for the Flyers, and he coughed it up. He was double teamed, kind of. And I finally did find it here. I want to get another look at it. I don't know. He was facing the net, and then he turned away, and he turned his back to the offensive zone, and then he got closed in on and double. texting each other's. I'm not entirely sure what he was doing there. This is not a defensive miscue. This is it's a bad decision at a really bad spot on the ice. The defenseman that dropped back and made this 2-on-1. I can't tell exactly who it is. It's almost like Kevin Hayes thought he could drop it to the guy. I don't know. Maybe he didn't realize he was that high in the zone. Like he was all the way out by the blue line. But because he turns around and he almost takes it out of the zone. He realizes he pulls it back in. I'm just wondering if maybe he just lost track of where he was on the ice or something. But that was in that final shift. He came off the ice and didn't come back on the rest of the night. Whether it was that one player or not, I don't know. Tortorella does not like to talk about individual players after the game necessarily. So we'll have to see if we hear about it tonight. But obviously, I'm sure had something to do with it. The only good thing is he coughed it up to 2 training camp guys. So it wasn't like he handed it off to Jack Hughes or something like that. And, one of the guys involved was Eric Holla. I think Miles Wood might have been the other. I'm not sure. At least they coughed it up to guys that went that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is one of those situations with Hayes where his go-to is puck protection and, maintaining possession in key parts of the ice. And he's in a little bit of a danger zone here in the spot he is on the ice. But sometimes you can stick with your best asset too long. And sometimes you just got to make that simple play, just chip it deep, especially in a tight game. But and that's part of his game, and it was ill-advised.
Yeah, and again, that's another reason why I'm wondering if he just didn't realize how high he was in the zone, because he's been so good at that lately. He's been able to just keep the puck, at his feet within a foot or so of his body, and he's been very, very effective doing that lately. So, it almost seemed to be like he turned around and said, "Oh crap, I'm at the blue line," and then he had to pull it back in, and now all of a sudden he can't use that real estate that's in that direction because he doesn't want to take it outside the zone. And again, he just didn't end well. So that would not surprise me if he just didn't realize where he was, because that kind of play is something he's been doing a lot lately. He's been doing well. It's just an unfortunate spot.
I'm sure he realized where he was on that bench for the entire third period.
Yeah, that's pretty. That was the middle of that bench is a place where you don't want to be.
Yeah.
Divider spot.
The
offense, the defense, because that means you're not.
You're a partition.
You're not moving.
Get comfortable. Yeah, it's one of those where you don't have to tie your skates too tight. They're heading into the period. Let's get to the BetRivers.com highlight reel. Let's get to all the goals in this game because they're all worth talking about. Even the Devils' goal. They open the scoring, the Devils do. It's on the power play. 4:20 into the hockey game when Jack Hughes gets his 16th of the season. Yeah, Hughes is able to dance his way to the net there, and Flyers get caught a little outside the dots, and it puts the Devils up in the game 1-0. Power play goal. Dougie Hamilton also picks up an assist. That's how we'd end the first. So we pick it up in the second, and the Flyers get on the board, oddly enough, on the power play. Power play prior to that, 5-on-3, 4-minute double minor, no dice. But eventually, at 4:12 of the second, on another power play, Flyers break through, and Scott Lawton picks up his fifth. What a shot by Lawton there off the face-off draw, Bry, which he won. Do yourself a favor.
Yeah, you're talking about taking care of yourself, right? Is that the equivalent of a pitcher getting an RBI in baseball or something?
Yeah. Help your cause.
Well, himself is be able to roll back out to that right point, too, which is normally that's not where your center is up, I don't think. Not on the right point out where he rode to. And again, I don't know, maybe that confused the Devils a little bit, or if it was just not that way. You guys rotated toward Mill Gates. I think that might have been typically he would have ended up. So I don't know if that caused some disruption to what the Devils were doing, but obviously a lot of time and space and
PP1 looked rather, this isn't going to be nice, but hideous on their opportunities in the game to that point. PP2 gets out there, and Travis Sanheim, I think, does a really good job shifting the side of the ice, and that really opens things up and causes a little bit of redundancy in coverage for the Devils who don't read it well. Farabee kind of pushes the coverage, and Lawton with a great shot. Noah Cates picks up an assist, as does Travis Sanheim, to the Flyers get it tied at 1. So we pick it up in the third period. 1-1 game, chance after chance going in on Carter Hart. But the Flyers, Travis Konechny, is able to get a step and a half maybe on the Devils D at 11:46, and he beats Vitek Vanacek, low blocker, to take the 2-1 lead. Hey, Mike, do we have any saves from Hart? Yeah, Konechny's 12th. I love the shot here. Just snaps it, Brian, just beats him. Low blocker, really tough place. I think he probably showed something else, and then he got Vanacek kind of frozen there. He barely moved.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this thinking, all right, Vanacek had to think he was going high one way or the other.
Yep.
Because, yeah, he didn't do anything. And, it looked like a soccer goalie that gets thrown on a penalty kick or something like that. Like, he made no movement whatsoever. And like you said, I think he's thinking, okay, it's going high one way or the other, blocker or glove. And then when it goes down by his ankles, he can't do anything.
He's like, geez.
Yeah.
I bit on the shoulder. Yeah. What a horrible feeling. He, I think you can tell too, because his legs are really close together. So he's more upright as a result, trying to make that read. I mean, Konechny's coming in and Konechny's showing something, and he bit on it hook, line, and sinker. And when his legs are closer together, it's an inability for him then to get down into that butterfly to get the pad sprawled out and cover the bottom third.
Right.
Good on Konechny for reading it too.
Yeah, and again, like we've said before many times, you go into that situation and you commit by going down. Now you're giving up the whole top part of it. So it seemed like you said, either he gave him something and made him think he was going up, or he just guessed wrong. Fortunately, Konechny was able to take advantage.
Yeah, great shot by Travis Konechny. Noah Cates picks up his second point of the game there as well. He gets the assist, his 8th of the season. 2-1 Flyers, and that's how we would end it. They come away with the win. Last game of this 4-game road trip. 4 total points of a possible 8. All things considered, 3 one-goal losses, 1 one-goal win. And the Flyers will return home Saturday to take on the New York Rangers. Let's take a time out here on the postgame show. It's Brian Smith, Jason Myrtetus. You're listening to Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the BetRivers.com Flyers broadcast network. Oh, yeah. He dropped the shoulder on him a little bit there. He leans and drops his shoulder, and Vanacek that goes into some goofy looking.
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as Vejmelka the other night, but I think it was Vejmelka or the
Arizona game.
Yeah, where I said his controller died.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't quite that bad, but he doesn't make an effort to save the puck at all.
Yeah. Konechny kind of leans on that right shot leans down on the stick, and that makes it look like he's going to go upstairs high glove. Because if you look at the goalie, he's got his glove up, but then he's like, oh, I got to come down with my blocker, and he's just tied in a knot at that point, and you're dead to rights. God, is this mic like getting closer to my freaking mouth or what? I'm like eating it. And it doesn't taste great.
Yeah, just looking at this Hayes thing again, and it's like all these times when usually this happens, it'd be like Jack Hughes is the guy that takes it or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank goodness it wasn't.
It's when you know you're destined to win. I'm gonna grab my water. Hold on. Oh, I got it right here.
One of them was definitely Eric Holland. I think it was either. It wouldn't have been Zetterlund. I think it was Wood. Like, thank
Miles
you, Eric.
Wood.
Yeah, I'd let the dog out there in the middle of the intermission, or middle of the post-game show, because
Nice.
she's looking at me whining, and I do not need dog stuff on my new floors here.
Yeah. Get the poop bags.
Yeah, we'll talk about this more when we get back on the radio here, but interesting to see who got the ice time that Hayes didn't in that period.
Oh.
Lawton plays 23 and a half.
Wow, that's a lot.
Konechny 22 and a half, and Noah Cates 20-27.
All right. Here's my wife is over at my brother-in-law's watching his dogs with our dog.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a huge yard, and the dog got outside, was playing outside in the rain and mud and everything. Here's how she came to the back door.
Oh, no. Hang on a minute. I don't have the right screen up.
She's a white English cream golden retriever. Not so much there.
Wow. Mine just came back in. I'm going to shut my door before we come back.
All right, we are back live as the Philadelphia Flyers get a 2-1 win over the New Jersey Devils. Flyers 2-1 over the Devils this year. They won opening night. They lost 3-2 at Wells Fargo. So 2-1 over the Devils.
And the one at Wells Fargo, they played light years better than they did tonight, and probably even the first one too. The first one, if you recall, was a lot like this one. It's
Those
just
15 games were, Bri.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah. It's maddening, and I just don't. It's very interesting to. I don't know. Interesting is even the word. Just like how can they play so much better defensively, and lose 10 in a row, and then play a game like this where they give up again 48 shots on Carter Hart and come away with the win. It is kind of nutty, really.
You outshoot them 33-18. You lose 3-2. You get outshot in this game 49. Excuse me. Let's get it right, Jason. Don't shave any extra saves for Carter on that one. 49-24, and you win 2-1. Sheesh, that's crazy to think about. That you're able to hold them to 18 shots, then they get 40, and you lose, and then you hold them to 49 shots. You don't hold them to anything. They had 49 shots, and you win. Bananas.
It is. It defeats all logic, which is, kind of hard to do in this day and age of analytics and stuff like that. Like, you usually can explain what's going on, and right now that's hard to do with this group. And again, it's not like they. We're able to come out tonight and blow the doors off with a ton of goals. They still only got 2 goals, but they did not. They only gave up the 1, which is, again, bizarre to think.
So Kevin Hayes only played under 10 minutes in the game, Bri.
Yep.
Those minutes had to go somewhere. And I'm looking at a couple guys in particular that really picked it up from a forward perspective. That'd be Scott Lawton and Travis Konechny. Over 23 minutes each for those players. Or 22-33 for TK, 23-33 for Lawton.
Yeah. It's there's been some some mention of this with John Tortorella. It's like, look who plays in certain situations. Look who gets out there in the last 5 minutes, or something like that, and this is one of those deals where you look at it and you say, oh, okay, this is one of those situations where the Flyers go out and they don't have a player there for most of he's there, but he didn't play the whole third period. Who gets those extra minutes? And those three guys are right at the top. So you can kind of glean from that. What John Tortorella liked about their play tonight.
Sorry, my son opened up the door down here, and I got like a bat in here. It's
Oh,
a bug, and I just tried to get it with my bug killer gun, but I just found out that it's out of CO2.
Oh no.
Yeah, I'll reload though. You hang around, buddy. You're gonna go. There it goes, right by the screen.
That's the hazards of having a home studio above your garage, I guess, right?
Every time I get up to get him, he flies off. I need Carter Hart's reflexes over here, please. He is a big sucker. So the Flyers will be back in action coming up on Saturday against the Rangers to look to string 2 in a row together. 2 home games on this little mini homestand, and then they'll head out on the road for the remainder of the year. But Saturday night should be fun against the Rangers as always. Let's take another time out here on the postgame show. We will be back. We'll get you teed up for Flyers Rangers on Saturday. Some final thoughts and more. Stay tuned. You're listening to Philadelphia Flyers Hockey on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. All right. I'm going to see if I get this guy. Hold on. Oh, stay there, buddy. Stay there. Oh, I had him.
Oh, my goodness.
Buddy, you're in the wrong house. Oh, there he is. Come on. Holy cow. Where did he go? Maybe I'm out of ammo. I got 2 shots left in this clip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this thing showed up at my door. I get this box, and I'm like, who the heck? Sometimes from being on the radio, people just send you stuff and hoping you like mention it, give them promotional mentions.
Right.
Where the heck did this thing come from? So I just assume, and then I run into my neighbor, and he's like, did you get that package? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I got you the bug salt gun. I'm like, you got that for me? Yes, I love it. This is like a Dirty Harry one.
Oh,
so tell me, punk, do you feel lucky? He got like the shotgun one. I'm like, what are you trying to kill? I don't know where he went.
So I just brought up some numbers on Carter.
Okay.
He's seen 35 shots or more in 5 games this year. He's been above a 94 save percentage in 4 of the 5.
Wow.
He has seen 34 or fewer in 17 games.
Oh, hold on. And we are back. As I'm chasing this bug around the house. It is the post-game show. Brian Smith, Jason Myrtetus. Brian, you got some numbers on Hart?
Yeah, and that's what we were trying to dive
researching,
into some, which is why we were a little bit late there here, and we were back. But here's just an interesting thing that I just ran Carter's game by games this year. He has seen 35 or more shots on 5 occasions this season out of 22 games he's played in. Of those 5, his save percentage has been a 94 or better in 4 of those 5. He has 17 games where he's seen 34 or fewer. And in those 17 games, 4 of those games have been 94 or better. So, that's just, again, for whatever reason, him thriving on lots of shots. The ones where he is, low save percentages, which, for him is probably below 90. Just looking through there are 10 of those where he's been below 90 in a save percentage in a game this year. And of those 10, he has seen fewer than 30 shots in 7 of them.
Yeah.
And he's not seen more than 33 in any of them. So it's just a really interesting phenomenon about how he seems to thrive on, lots of work in a given game.
So 23 games played for him this year. He's got over a 930 save percentage in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is insane. 8, 9, 10. Over a 930 save percentage in 10 games of the 23, including a couple that are 970. Tonight was 980 save percentage, 947, 969, 971, 972. I mean, just unbelievable. Boy, has he been good.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing, I was looking at some numbers earlier this week about, the Flyers in that stretch since November the 9th was kind of the cut date where the Flyers went from their 7-2-3 start onto their 10-game winless streak. And for you and me watching the games, that's also the date where they really started playing better defensively. And it is kind of crazy because I was looking at some of the advanced stats in that stretch. Specifically, we were looking at expected goals in that stretch. And the first 14 games, I think it was, that they were winning a lot. They were dead last in the league in expected goals against.
Yeah.
It was, and they were giving up more than 70 shot attempts per game at 5-on-5. That's just a 5-on-5.
Mm-hmm.
The next closest team was 65. So then they go into the stretch of the 10-game winless streak and up till the other day when I looked at this. And from there, their expected goals, I think, had dropped to 9th best in the league.
Wow.
And their chances, or the scoring, the shot attempts against was like 13th best. I could be getting those two backwards, but they had gone from dead last in both to 9th and 13th in those 2 periods of time, which again is when you and I and most other people on the coaching staff saw the team start to play with a better defensive structure and yet lose 16 of 18. It defies logic. And the thing that jumped out at me was high danger chances. The teams that had been down there with them, the top 10 in those numbers, they all had at least 7 or 8 wins. Flyers had 3. They had 63 high danger chances in that time frame, which is about 15 more, I think, than the next team. And what that showed me was that if you can kind of remember this, thinking back on it, they had a lot of breakaways against, a lot of 2-on-1s against, a lot of those shots getting blocked at the other blue line and going the other way, like the one that saw Kevin Hayes sit the bench the rest of the night. And so I'm sure that that's something they're trying to cut down on. And, maybe that's what pushed things over the edge for Hayes to sit tonight. But, it is kind of crazy to me that this game tonight goes right back to where they were in the first 13 games of the year in terms of, how many chances they gave up, and they still come away with the win.
I think another reason why Hayes got sat down tonight is because Torts has talked about this a little bit, that he wants a result for the guys. They're doing a lot of the right things on that road trip, in Vegas, and then in Arizona. It was Arizona, and even against Colorado, you do a lot of the right things, but you don't come away with a win because the Achilles heel of this team is scoring. They can't score and just don't get a lot of goal support.
Yeah.
So he's wanted a result for these guys because of the structure and what they're doing away from the puck and their resiliency and their effort. And I think tonight he was just thinking to himself, I'm not going to let one guy undermine that for not doing the right things and put me in an egregious position.
Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting if he ever talks about it to see exactly what the reasoning was. He said repeatedly in the last couple of months that they know that he's not the strongest defensive player. Chuck Fletcher said it. He said they knew it when they brought him in. So he knows there are going to be mistakes on defense, but they need his offense right now because nobody else is providing offense. I think the difference here tonight was that the giveaway was not a defensive play. It was the Flyers were on the attack there, and it was right at the Jersey blue line. So that's a mistake that's not defensive, and therefore I think less likely to be tolerated, if you will. It's just one of those deals where you see that, like you said, that maybe somebody's just got the yips on a given night or something like that, and you don't want it to undermine everything else, so you just shorten the bench there in the third.
Part of a coach's job is to recognize in game who's going, who's not, who's going to give you the best chance to win that game. And, that's what I think that went into the decision to sit him down too. I mean, it's crazy because Hayes now has played 30 games, I guess 31 now, 9 goals, 20 assists, 29 points. He leads the team in points, but he's been sat down in 2 third periods. So it's the subplot for sure. I mean, come tomorrow in Philadelphia, you never know. It could be the main plot.
It could be, yeah. And again, he handled it well last time, and Torch talked about that. Like, he wanted to see how guys handle that well. If you recall back when it happened the first time, it was both him and Konechny the entire third period. This time it was just him. So, it'll be, again, another interesting thing to see how he handles this one. Will he handle it as well as the last one? I know, what Tortorella said about the last time was, Konechny came in and found him and talked to him about it, and
wanted to know why.
Said both of those were fine. Konechny wanted to know why, and Hayes, for Hayes, the way he deals with it is just to move on and play the next game. And and Tortorella said he was fine with both of those approaches. He doesn't care either way as to who jumps in the office to talk to him or who doesn't. And so, they're coming back home tonight. I don't know what tomorrow is, if it's a day off or if they'll be in.
Right.
On days off, the guys are coming in and doing workouts. So, we'll see if there's a talk tomorrow, if it ends up being the same way where he just moves on and tries to do better next time.
Yeah, maybe there's a combo on the bus ride.
Yeah.
You got a long bus ride.
You have a long bus ride. I think they ride the same bus back. I don't know for sure. Obviously, when you're on the plane, you're all on the same plane. But when they bus, there's 2 buses, and some guy, the players ride one bus, and a lot of the staff rides the other. I don't know how they split it up with the coaches and stuff.
It's called the fun bus and the boring bus.
Yeah.
They're scheduled to practice tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Be an
They had
opportunity.
a travel day on Wednesday with no practice.
Yep. And then they've got, I think Sunday's an off day too. So yeah, it makes sense that tomorrow would be a practice day. It'll be a little bit of a later one, I'm sure, but they'll get out there and get some work in ahead of the Rangers game.
Yep. Flyers Rangers Saturday night at the Wells Fargo Center. Should be a fun affair anytime the Rags are in town. And let's take a quick look at the Rangers because they're a team that came in with a ton of expectations this year after a pretty wild ride. Yeah, they haven't been met this year. They had a wild ride last year. They have 35 points right now. They're in the 5th spot in the Metro, 17, 12, and 1, 2 points back of the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're 2 points ahead of the Islanders. They're in the 4th spot and 3 points back of the Penguins. I think that just updated on me. They've won 5 straight games, have the Rangers. By the way, the Penguins have won 7 straight games. They've been just so hot or cold this year.
That's at least a turnaround in a row because, you know how well New York fans handle things like this. They had Gerard Gallant ready. They wanted his head on a stick back around Thanksgiving. So, hopefully that's quelled things a little bit for them. But to win 5 in a row and still only be 3 up on the wild card cutoff is not where the Rangers thought they'd be this year.
Yeah, 6-4 win over St. Louis was the first of the 5 wins. Vegas, a 5-1 win at Colorado, a 2-1 shootout victory at home versus New Jersey in overtime, and then they won tonight 3-1 against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Shesterkin has gone in all of those games. Halak went in the last loss against Chicago, so I imagine we'll probably see Igor Shesterkin versus Carter Hart on Saturday night at Wells Fargo. Boy, that's a good goaltending matchup right there. That's worth the price of admission. Oof. Oofa.
I certainly hope that before too long is going to be, those two guys anchoring a rekindling of this rivalry between these two clubs. Just because that's where I hope we get back to here before too long. And both those guys are going to be probably anchoring the net for their team for years to come. So it'd be really great to see that start to pick up a little bit and have some more meaningful games played between these two teams.
No question about it. Let's wrap things up. Let's thank a few people before we get out of here. Let's start with our in-studio engineer. How about Mike Vito tonight, pushing the knobs and dials and doing a good job? Mike, who was on highlights tonight? Ray Dunn was on the highlights tonight For Tim Saunders, Steve Coates, Brian Smith, I'm Jason Myrtetus. You've been listening to Philadelphia Flyers Hockey, a 2-1 win over the New Jersey Devils on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network. Good night, everybody.